There are other providers, but why endowment? And like I said, I think you've touched on a few of the points, but I want to make sure we really hit it home. Like, there's a reason we went with endowment, right? So, go ahead.
I think there's a framing it in the positive, which is endowment is really delightful to use. It's easy and free to get started. It accepts everything. It works with any advisor.
Yeah,
It allows you to grant internationally straight in the application. You don't have to fax any paperwork. We handle all of the, stock transfer paperwork, and it is just a completely modern experience in a way that DAFs have not been in the past. And then like the framing it in the critical lens, which is like DAFs need an upgrade. If you go and try out some of the other platforms for donor advised funds, you'll notice right away that they feel like the old school traditional finance tools that you're used to when you go into your online banking or to your like your E-Trade account or your Schwab account. It feels like that old school brokerage vibe. And giving has soul. It is something you do because you care and you want it to be values aligned. You want it to be a business that gets paid when it does its job rather than rent seeking on you being a lazy philanthropist. You want it to have an interface that's enjoyable to use that helps you discover nonprofits that you wouldn't have discovered otherwise. You want to be able to choose from more investment options, especially investment options that don't run contrary to your investment thesis that you've developed with your advisor. And so we focus on perfecting those experiences. And that's something that for many of the DAF providers, where this is just yet another service on top of their other custodial services that hasn't been touched in 10 years or hasn't been touched in 15 years or more, um, we're treating this as our bread and butter. This is the only thing we do. This is the one product that we make, and we make it from the perspective of a user, right? Like I'm patient zero. And I think your clients and people who listen to this down the road will feel that difference between us and, your average everyday commercial DAF provider.